Hey everybody, Gears here, and it is a windy wind. I'm thinking that's now like 75 feet at the top. I did a little trying to measure up, and you take 6 feet, there's 12, there's 25, there's 50. Yeah, 50 feet would be very shy. It's probably 60 to 80 feet tall. Definitely windy up there. Here at ground level, it's coming on and off. Yeah, so right now those rags, we can see that it's a little bit of a wind. Despite that, I've gotten a little painting done, just primer layers. But what I want to talk about for this video is the cut lines for the mold. What you're seeing here was a draft idea I came up with last night, and I'm already thinking about doing something a little different. This is the top of it, of course, and then let's look at the back. Or I should have said the front of it. This is the back. So the basic idea here is that the front ends and the back ends have this depth going on, so I'd like to mold those as separate caps. Ideally, this outer rim here would be the fiberglass, and all of this in here I would cast in clear resin. Ideally. Whether that's really possible, whether this, whether that, I'll find out as I go along, and hopefully before I actually do it. So those would be two pieces. The fronts, those have a bit of depth to them, and these nose cones need to go in there. And so flipping that over, we got what? The port is on the left, so there's the starboard, approximate top and bottom, so approximate top. I could clay all this in and cast it all as one piece. However, this depth is really critical to sell the illusion that this is a genuine functioning engine, and it's all about the illusion. Consequently, this does need up to an inch, just about. The clay line here, that corner of it stops right about there. However, pushing this entire piece in, the bottom is way down there. Or potentially I could cap this off entirely and fake it somehow. I'm still working on that idea. Either way, this top piece needs to be another one. So there's 4 pieces for this mold. And then the question becomes, do you cut this along the seam lines? Do I cut it front and back? What I'm thinking is, or what I was thinking when I drew this line here, was that by having most of the top of it and then this lip underneath the front of it, having this nose here be a single piece rather than split in half would be more structurally stable. Now that I'm looking at it, having this bottom piece where it connects to the car wrap over the front to the top is probably the safer idea, because this seam line, if there were some kind of break for whatever reason, this bottom piece is still stuck there, but the top piece, which is going to be most of it with these drawings, that could fly off. So I'm thinking, rather than having the seam line here on the bottom, it'll actually go on the top. The back seam, and while that is an undercut, as long as the back seam line can counteract that so you still have full access to the area when you're casting it, it's not a problem. And as long as you do the mold right, you slip this out rather than pull the mold off, or rather you slip the casting out of the mold rather than pull the mold off of the casting. It's a little bit different. As long as you don't do it wrong, it works. Get rid of this guy and flip this over. It's difficult to see with the black paint here, but essentially the back line would be cut right straight across the middle. So if the bottom of the mold here, this back, is attached to the front coming up here, then that will just leave this top piece connecting onto the nacelle. So I think that's the safer bet. If this little piece were to fly off, big deal, because the rest of it is still attached. When I drew this seam line, it was with the idea that the bottom would wrap around 3/4 to really hold it in place. With this smaller top area, the seam line would go on the back so that this one wraps all the way around 3/4 to help grip it in place. You know, it'd be like two hands wrapping around. So this would be more correct. The top seam line would come here, cut straight around here, and then go up somewhere in that area. Again, there's an overcut going on, but when you're doing this, when you're thinking about that ahead of time, it works out. The Pink Panther foam that's under here is susceptible to hot chemicals. I know this because I've patched so many holes because I've put hot chemicals on there. It's also very soft, so if I squeeze it, I could actually put not just fingerprints, but finger dents into the thing. Consequently, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to layer a small bit of rubber silicone over the entire thing first. Then I can layer my fiberglass on top of that. Very thin and very quietly, at least chemically wise. I don't want any heat affecting or warping the shape at all at that last final stage, because I would have to do this all over again, and while I could, I don't want to. This end piece, this would definitely be a cone of silicone wrapped around there, as well as the front piece. Then there would just be a light silicone casting across the rest of it, just to protect the surface from a little bit from the heat. How that's going to look, I still can't imagine, because setting up the clay boundaries for when I do all this, how it's attached with bolts and screws to each other, the pieces, this is so complex. It's beyond anything I've ever done before. So I'm definitely concerned. I'm still hoping to get some professional advice from a couple of my buddies. I was thinking about one, but it's been difficult to get him here from way across LA County. But there's another guy who's a little closer, who I'm working up the courage to text and go, "Yo, dude, help." That's always a tough one, I'm sure, for everybody. Maybe there's some folks who it's like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, ultimately it comes down to just ask. But at the same time, people got lives, and they got busy stuff. And coming down here from wherever he is, I think it's like Studio City, which is still a bit of a drive, but it's closer than my other buddy, way out in Pacoima. So we'll see how all that goes. It's getting close to dinner time, essentially, and I got my wife's car today. I'm thinking about driving up to Burbank and getting my fiberglass and rubber and resin, but I still want to hold off just another day. I got to count out my money, see what's there, and hope to God the prices haven't gone up so much. I need a 5-gallon bucket of the fiberglass. I'm going to need several packages of cloth. I need at least a gallon of resin, and probably 2 to 3 gallons of rubber. I won't know until I actually do it and see what the costs are, because it's going to be big, hundreds, 500-600 maybe. I'm hoping to keep it down to. We'll see how things have gone in the last years. So that is it for this one. The first of probably several videos that are going to show off the proposed cut lines for all the molds are going to go. These guys are nice and easy. I just put a cylinder over this, or more ideally something that's tapered to save on the rubber. Yeah, so put this on a bed of clay, set it down, put the form around it, pour the rubber on top, wait, pull this piece out, squeezing it out, and I'm ready to cast. These guys are going to be fiberglass, so getting down into this nose point is definitely going to be tough. I don't know exactly how I'm going to super reinforce that area. We'll see as I go. I would like to do this as a one piece. I'd hate to have to do it as a two, just because I hate seam lines. than the engine spike. Alright, I'll put this back out in the sun, but this is hopefully the final primer layer. And if everything looks good in gray right there, then this is going to be great. Let's see this here. Yeah, I really got to step back to get that in shot. Proportionally, it's like an inch too long. When I did my initial guesstimate measurements, it was a lot closer, but the end product became, yeah, so maybe even 2 inches long. It should be, according to the proportions here that I can guess, say like this one here, that distance there is just about 9/10, 8/10, the distance of that. So I've got it a little different. So yeah, potentially it should be all the way down to there, but at this point I'm not about to no. I don't want to recreate that little ball cap there. I don't want to recreate all these angles. It's not worth it. So it's good enough, and it's going to look great, and everybody, I think, is going to be none the wiser, except the real professionals. And then with the nose cone on it, wow, it's going to be a nice looking piece no matter what. So that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. See ya. Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. It's going to look nice in yellow and silver, I'll tell you that. Thanks for watching. See ya.